Okay, one of the first things we've got to look at with Athens and her increasing control over the Delian League is why Athens was chosen as the hegemon or leader of the Delian League. There's a number of reasons why Athens was chosen as hegemon. First of all, remember Athens had been the most active state resisting the Persians at all points during the Persian Wars. And secondly, probably a little bit more importantly, was the decisive Athenian role at the Battle of Salamis against the Persians, which gave Athens an awful lot of prestige and status in Greece. Not only have we got Athenian factors, but we've also got Spartan factors as well. Remember, Sparta was always incredibly reluctant to fight outside of the Peloponnese because of its Helot paranoia, so it didn't really want to carry on the Persian offensive. It thought that the Athenians were quite well suited to continue that fight. In addition to that, we've also got the behaviour of the Spartan general or commander Pausanias, who alienated allies from the Spartan leadership. So, because of these two reasons, we've got Thucydides saying that the Ionian Greeks were glad to have Athenian leadership. So, we've figured out how Athens, or why Athens, was the #1 city-state in the Delian League. We've now got to look at the objectives of the Delian League. And Thucydides gives us a great little phrase that we can use to measure the actions of the Delian League to see whether they're legitimate or not. He tells us that the principal objective was for the allies to compensate themselves for their losses by ravaging the territory of the king, so attacking Persians in Persia. So if we look at the early arrangements of the Delian League, we can see that there's some really positive things, but also that those same factors actually give the Athenians a definite advantage in this arrangement. You've got to be able to display what those arrangements were and also how they benefit the Athenians in your answers. First of all, the league itself is located at Delos, the island sacred to the Greeks as the birthplace of Apollo. Athens was voted hegemon, military leader. Everyone agreed with that because of Salamis. The tribute was also decided to be split, so smaller states were going to supply the cash, whereas the larger states would supply the ships and the men. More importantly, for our good bits, I suppose, is that every state had a vote in the synod, and Athens was the president of that synod. The synod are the meetings of the allies where they could vote and debate what the Delian League was going to be doing. And then finally, remember the Delian League was voluntary to join, and there was also an oath of loyalty to each other. However, there's some definite advantages to the Athenians. So consider Athens not only was the president of the synod, but she was also hegemon of the league. So she had executive powers in deciding what the league actually did. Athens was the only state mentioned in the oath itself. She assessed and collected the tribute, and pretty much there's always an Athenian as leader of the fleet, whether that's Hegemon or who else. Let's look at those initial actions of the Delian League. And again, just like these arrangements, there's good bits, there's bad bits. So the first action of the Delian League is an attack on the Persian settlement of Eion in 476. The legitimate part is, remember, that it was a powerful Persian base, the Persians are sold into slavery, the whole area is resettled. The dodgy bits, though, are that the Athenians settle Clerarchy in a really strategic place called Amphipolis, giving them control over trade, timber, and silver and gold supplies. The second action of the Delian League was Skyros in 474 BC. Skyros was a pirate base and was certainly interfering in trade, so nobody really argued against the legitimacy of attacking something like Skyros. However, it did give Athens a really permanent and strategic base in the north of the Aegean. Obviously, don't forget, it gives them control of the grain and trade routes, and also Theseus's bones were apparently recovered. Our final action of our early Delian League is the assault on Hristos. Hristos had been pro-Persian during the Persian Wars, so a revenge attack certainly wasn't out of the question and was certainly seen as legitimate. However, the whole of Euboea was forced into the Delian League, so you've got a dangerous precedent being set of forced membership, and the Athenian clericies certainly represent a land grab on Euboea. Remember, Euboea had a lot of agricultural land the Athenians wanted to get their claws on. Overall trends in our early Delian League, well, we can see that Athenian motives are pretty clear, even if the legitimate actions benefit the Athenians, such as Eion. Athens is quite happy to force states into the Delian League, it send out clericies, and is certainly looking to gain control over trade and grain routes. The early Delian League, including the arrangements, certainly give the Athenians the potential to turn into an empire.